Hey guys, Kirsten here, and this is my race report for the St. George Ironman World Championship race that was done on May 7th, 2022. So I originally signed up for this race in 2020 when it was just the St. George Ironman, and it was deferred to 2021 and then again to 2022. And then at the end of 2021, they added, when Kona 2021 was canceled in October, they decided to make the St. George Ironman basically Kona 2021. So the World Championships for 2021 in St. George in May of 2022. So if that was hard to follow along with, it's okay. It's not even relevant, not even important. But a lot of people asked about that. Like, why does your shirt say 2021 when it just happened in 2022? So that is why that happened that way. So I was already signed up for the race, but then in Arizona, the Arizona Ironman in 2021, I actually qualified for it. So I would have gone anyway. I was already signed up for it. But that is where I qualified for it. So here's how it went. Here's how the race went. A lot of you guys who have either raced it or heard about it, it was a pretty brutal day. Leading up to it, I feel like I was very, very fit. I trained amazingly. I only got one over 100-mile ride in, but that's how it is. I spent a lot of time on the bike. I actually added it up, and from January 1st to May 7th, I spent over 3,400 miles on the bike. So I biked a lot because it's a brutal bike course. And I just wanted to be prepared. I wanted to give myself the best chance for success. So I was really amazed by that number because it sounds like so much. It averaged out to about 20 hours a week of biking. So basically my part-time job for the last 4 months was my bike. Felt really fit. I lost some run fitness. I had a concussion in December, didn't run for 6 weeks. Took a little while to come back, but by the time race day came, my run fitness was totally back. I felt strong. I felt really, really good about my training. So I went into the race feeling pretty great, pretty confident. I even had a really good taper, which typically I kind of go crazy during taper and gain 10 pounds and go crazy. I actually had a great taper. I tapered really well. I tapered all the way down to the last week. I only did 4 hours of training. I only gained 2 pounds during taper, which is really good for me. And I just felt really good going out there. So I get to St. George. I didn't quite get to do the pre-race stuff I wanted to do, my pre-race plan, because I ended up having to bring my daughter with me at the last minute, which totally worked out fine. I have an amazing support system. So thank you to everybody who scrambled to find people to watch her. It all worked out. She had a blast with all her babysitters. So thank you guys. Thank you, because that was a little stressful the week leading up to the race. So again, all worked out well. And we got to spend Mother's Day together, which was the day after the race. So leading up to the race, everything felt amazing. Race day comes, my nutrition felt on point. Everything felt really good. The only thing I really I don't know how they could do it much differently, because I know they want to do it by age group. But the pro men started at 6:15 a.m. and my wave for my age group did not start until 8:01. So I feel like by the time we got out of the water, it was like already hot and windy. So again, I'm only racing against my age group, but it's definitely a disadvantage overall. And again, I don't know how else they could have done that better, because they want to compare age groups to age groups. But that was something that I wasn't really excited about. So race morning came, I ate my usual oatmeal with peanut butter and syrup. I drank a shake, and then I brought another shake because I knew I was getting on the bus at about 4:30 in the morning, and my wave wasn't starting until after 8 o'clock. So that was a long time to go without eating. In hindsight, I would have brought more food, because halfway through the swim, I was hungry. And so I started the bike hungry. And I knew my number one race plan was not to get behind on my nutrition. So right when I got on the bike, I took in a lot of calories And then my stomach I was just a little like nervous that was going to mess things up. And it didn't. I did catch up after about an hour on the bike by taking in a lot. But that was something that really made me nervous. So swim went off. Like I said, it was a wave swim. I felt really strong, full wetsuit. The water was perfect. It was, I don't know, some people say 62 degrees, some people say 64 degrees. The warmest water I've ever been in St. George in May. So I actually, even halfway through the swim, I had to like lift up my wetsuit and get some cold water in there because I was getting hot in my full sleeved wetsuit. So buoys, they were great placement. I swam very straight. I had my prescription goggles for the second race, which love my prescription goggles. So if you need prescription goggles, you guys, just get them, pay the money. They're so worth it. So swim came out. I came out. My swim time was 1:07, which when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I used to swim in like an hour. Every race I would swim an hour. But the last few years, it's been getting slower and slower. And it's not because I'm getting slow. I mean, obviously I'm getting slower, but it's because I'm focusing so much on the bike and the run that you can only do so much, right? So my bike and my run have gotten faster, but my swim has gotten slower. So I'm like, oh man, I want to get back to an hour, but then I have to put in the pool time, and I want to spend that time biking and running, as much as I can, as much as my body will allow, because it's more valuable in the distances that I'm doing. So my swim time was 1:07. I was the third in my age group out of the swim. So that's perfect. I'm usually in the top 5 in the swim. So super happy with that. And then transition, same thing with starting late. They put the transition in order of the waves. So my transition was at the very, very end of the transition area on the other side of the bike run out. So what I did, because I had such a long run, was I actually, went through the changing tent, grabbed everything. I grabbed my shoes and I carried them, and I ran with my shoes and my bike to the bike exit. And then I put on my shoes when I got to the bike exit. That to me was just so much faster than me trying to run in my shoes, risk falling. My shoe, the cleats are really high. I'm not getting any younger. So I feel like that was the right choice for me. I can't remember my exact transition time, but I was still in third place after transition. And I think it was less than 5 minutes, like maybe 4 minutes, something. I can't remember offhand, but it was a good time for a transition. So I'm happy with that decision. My friend Ben did snap a picture of me sitting down, putting on my shoes. So it's kind of funny, like the picture that he thought of me was me sitting down in the triathlon, which made me giggle. So I was off on the bike. Like I said, leading up to it, I felt really strong on the bike. I actually have had a few, if you saw my race report from Oceanside, this year I had some changes made to my bike that are not really working for me at all. So I was just gonna ride it out, see how it felt in the race. And one of the issues I've been having, what has been my neck and the back of my shoulders, my traps have been spasming, and it's super, super uncomfortable on the bike. And I can maintain it for a little bit, but then it just gets too much. So then I shift positions, and it's okay for a few minutes, and then it gets too much, so I shift positions. But in the past, I've had some neck issues for a while, but in the past, they didn't show up till maybe an hour or two into the ride. So I was hoping, because I'd had massage, lots of work on my neck, taking care of it, tons of rubs, everything, creams. I even took ibuprofen in the morning, which I never take because I've read articles about how it does something to your blood. I don't know. But I was like, oh my God, I can't have my neck seize up. So I actually took ibuprofen the morning of the race. And I get on the bike and I start pedaling, and literally 5-10 minutes into the bike ride, my neck was already getting really tight. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. So I was telling myself other things like, the sun's coming out. It just needs to warm it up. It just needs to get used to it. Just like stay the course. It's not that much pain. Just ride it out, blah, blah, blah. Nothing was helping. And within the first 5 miles, I was coming out of the my aero bars, but even holding onto my handlebars, it would get intense. And I was just like, this is going to be one long ride, especially with how windy it was. Moving, shifting in all those positions is not aerodynamic. So I just did what I could. I stopped at a couple aid stations toward the end to just kind of like give it a minute. I felt like I was like in a billionth place after the bike. My bike took 7 hours, which, you know, when I look at the overall bike times for the day, they were all really, really long. But I was just like, Jesus, 7 hours. I was so uncomfortable and it was just like grating on me the whole time. I'm like, I'm not ever doing an Ironman again. I'm just going to do sprint triathlons. Maybe I'll just become a runner, a swim runner. I don't know. I couldn't deal. I was counting down the minutes. So like if I knew I had 20 miles left, I'm like, okay, that's going to be about an hour and 5, an hour and 10 minutes. And I would like get to a tree and I'm like, okay, an hour, 9 minutes. And I would get to the next landmark, an hour, 8 minutes. I was literally counting down the minutes. It was not fun at all. So the good things were my nutrition was amazing. I drink Infinite. I concentrated it a little bit, not a lot, because I knew it was going to be hot and I needed the liquid. So I drank 8 hours of Infinite in 6 bottles of water. And I feel like that was perfect. Like I said, at the beginning, I was a little hungry. So I actually drank 1 bottle within the first 10, 15 minutes. And then, you know, drank the rest as we went. So excited to get off my bike. Oh, by the way, the St. George Ironman course is phenomenal. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I want to work things out with my neck and my bike, and I want to do it again because it's my kind of course. It just wasn't going to happen for me that day. But that course is exactly what I want to ride in all the time. So if you haven't seen the profile, it's a lot of just kind of slight, for Colorado standards, slight up and down, smooth rolling hills for the first half. And then the second half is a couple monster climbs. Not like 20 miles uphill, but like, you know, steep, not really recover. Steep, not really recover. Steep. So you add the heat, it was in the 90s during the day, add the wind, a lot of gusts and a lot of crosswind. It made for a very adventurous, long day. So I get off the bike, so happy to be off the bike. I was like, yes, off the bike. My second transition was really fast. I was just happy to be off the bike. I felt fine. I felt like I didn't really get to utilize my fitness because I was in so much pain with my neck and my shoulder it was just all consuming. And I was sitting up a lot. I was coming out of the saddle a lot. So really like using my quads and my calves more than I had been used to because it actually felt best when I was out of the saddle. So I spent a lot of time out of the saddle in the wind. Not a great idea. So my overall time, like I said, for the bike was 7 hours. It was average of like 16 miles per hour. My second transition was pretty fast. Oh, by the end of the bike, I was 21st place. So I dropped from 3rd place to 21st place in my age group. And then I think in transition, I passed someone because I think I started the run in like 20th place. So my transition was pretty fast. It was like 3 minutes something. And I just want to get the hell out of there. No more biking ever. And I felt amazing on the run because again, I had the fitness and I didn't blow out on the bike. So I started the run. I felt great. I was right on track nutrition-wise. I was right on track pace-wise. I was feeling super relaxed. I was running really relaxed. I wasn't pushing it at all. And then it's like a gradual up, gradual down, turn around, gradual up, gradual down, turn around, and you do that again. But it's pretty gradual. So if you could just stay relaxed at a high cadence and go easy, it's a pretty doable run course. It was in the mid to high 90s by then, middle of the day. And I thought I was caught up on my nutrition. I felt energetic, but my body was like, yeah, we're going to start cramping, which I'd never done before. So it was, I've seen people cramp all the time where they're running and all of a sudden they stop and they're like, they can't go. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like they're just behind on their nutrition or whatever. I had never had that happen to me. I've almost cramped, but then I slow down and then, I just speed up and slow down. Whereas I was cramping to the point where I couldn't run anymore. So my calves were cramping and my inner thighs were cramping. And in hindsight, the only thing I can think of for my inner thighs, because it's never really cramped before and I don't really use them that much in a triathlon, it was really, really windy and there's 2 huge descents on the bike course. Tons of crosswind. So I think I must have just been like squeezing my bike to hold on for my dear life. And so I was using my inner thighs more than I normally do because they were cramping so bad. So I was taking these little teeny tiny steps, like, oh, I'm not stretching them out, but every 10 steps I had to stop. I would kind of stretch them out. My calves were cramping, my inner thighs were cramping. They felt okay walking, but it was a slower walk. So every aid station, that happened about mile 16. I had about 10 miles left. I was taking all the salt things I could think of. Like I was eating chips, Gatorade, and, what else was I eating? Oh, I ate a banana. So every aid station I'd eat like a half a banana, 4 potato chips, and then wash it all down with Gatorade. In addition to my regular, I was doing Infinite on the run, and I had 4 hours of run nutrition, and the run actually took me 4.5 hours. So, but with that extra stuff, I feel like I was still on track with my nutrition. I just couldn't keep running. So it was a run walk to the end. Even when I saw the finisher chute, I was like, oh, run. I would start running and it would cramp. And I'm like, I can't walk through the finisher chute. So I like walked right up to like right at the end. And then I ran through just so I could look like I was running through the finisher chute. So my run ended up being, I think 4:27 maybe was the time. I think it was just over 10-minute miles. I ended up running, I ended up 16th place. So I passed a few people on the run, 5 people on the run, which makes me happy because that was way slower than what I wanted my run time to be. So my overall time was 12 hours and 43 minutes. My original push goal, like, okay, if all goes well, I was really gunning for 12 hours. So 12 hours was my like push goal. If all goes well, I'll hit. And then I kind of didn't have any goals after that other than finish and, be safe. I wanted to be safe. And the bike was really scary for me, to be honest, with all that wind, and it was just scary. So I was really happy to be off the bike. So that's how my race went down. I didn't feel great after because I was eating all those bananas and chips and Gatorade, and that I'm not used to racing with that stuff. So afterwards I didn't feel great. But the next couple days, I wasn't really sore. I had some general fatigue. I was tired, like sleepy tired. But the next couple days, I was like, I feel really good. Like I didn't max out my fitness that I had trained to be able to utilize. So that's really exciting to me because I know that if I can get this neck thing taken care of, get my bike taken care of, figure out what the cramping was, whether I need more calories, more electrolytes. I've been training in Colorado where it's been like 40 to 50 degrees all winter, and all of a sudden we're at 95 degrees. Maybe that was it. If you guys know what it might be, I want to know. I want to explore how it can make it so this doesn't happen again, because I feel like I still have some in me, and we'll see if I ever get on my bike again. Just kidding. I will, I'm sure. So that was my St. George race report. And again, for any of you who don't know anything about the course, it's phenomenal. I don't know when they're going to have the full again. Originally, they were going to have it every 3 years. 2020 was the first year they were going to have it. So they were going to have St. George Ironman full every 3 years, and then the other years in between were the half. But they are having the half next year. It's part of the courses are the same. It's an amazing course. So highly recommend St. George, highly recommend the full and the half for a challenging, beautiful, great race experience. So thank you guys for all of you who supported me, helped me scramble to find kid care for Cora when we were over in St. George. Thank you to everyone who helped me train, helped me get to the starting line. Like, that's a feat within itself. So you guys are awesome. The volunteers on race day always are amazing. We could never do this without them. And I'm just really grateful that I can still train and race this is my 22nd year, in 23rd year, my 23rd season as a triathlete, and I'm still going. So that's exciting to me. And it's been a little more of a challenge since I became a mom, just because I can't, I'll just ride whenever I feel like it. Actually, I have to plan in advance, and if the day is crappy, I still have to ride. But it's, I want to show her that you don't have to give up on your dreams. And I want to show her that women are strong and powerful, and that she can be and do and have whatever she sets her mind to, and focus on a goal, and you will get there. So even though I didn't make any of my goals for the race, I had intermittent goals there, but for each of my events, I didn't make any of them. But it was a tough day, and I made it through. And I have a lot of friends who didn't make the cutoffs, didn't make the finish for whatever reason. Or I have people that wanted to do the race and couldn't because of an illness or injury or surgery. They couldn't even toe the line at the start. So I'm just grateful that I was safe, able to do it, able to complete it. And St. George, I'll be back. I'll be back for you. Show you who's boss. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.